Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So last week I made a video about how you can be productive while working from home during this time, and in that I spoke about how you can plan your day for success. And from that, actually, I got quite a lot of messages from people asking about how they can plan their day effectively for success and optimum productivity, especially if they are a morning person versus if they're a night person. So this week's video, we're going to be talking about exactly that. How do you plan your day effectively for optimal productivity and for success? And I'll give you the key differences between a morning person and a night person and how you can have organization of your day regardless of what type of person you are. And then we'll finish off with a couple of examples of successful people in both categories. So if you're interested in that and want to hear more, then hit the like button below. And while you're there, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss the next videos coming up. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. So we're going to be talking about what a morning person even is. There's a lot of discussion around this, so I wanted to just bring that to life. And a lot of successful people talk about this. A morning person is someone that wakes up early and is actually chirpy and ready to go. You all know the type, the person who wakes up, good morning everyone, right? That type of person. If you are that, you are a morning person, and good for you. And also, this person tends to sleep a little bit earlier than others. Now, when I say morning person, I don't mean you waking up at 10 a.m. and still saying, yeah, I'm chirpy, it's 10 a.m., it's still the morning, so I'm a morning person. No, morning person is usually someone who wakes up early, something like 5 a.m., 4 a.m., sometimes 6 a.m. can count as well. But effectively, this type of person wakes up before other people do. Okay, if you are that person, then you know you're a morning person. Now, a lot of successful people talk about how they are morning people and how they've established morning routines, and that is where this comes from. That there's a lot of pressure around potentially, if you want to be successful, you might want to be a morning person. But hopefully in this video, I can debunk some of that. So there's a couple of advantages and disadvantages when it comes to being a morning person. So an advantage would be something like you're able to do a lot of work before other people even wake up. So, you wake up with 100% energy and you're able to focus on yourself, focus on the things that you want to drive and focus on, and then you're able to keep going and kicking before other people even wake up. So by the time they wake up, try to get their morning coffee, you are ready to go, right? So that is the main advantage of being a morning person. And now, in this channel, we're going to always be talking and referring back to kind of self-development, self-growth, and potentially starting a side business, that kind of stuff. So I don't mean when you wake up early and you look at your emails for work and things like that. That's not what I mean. I mean, when you wake up early, you're able to focus on yourself and try to develop yourself personally. A disadvantage for being a morning person might mean you might have to sleep a little bit earlier. So if you're a social type of person, then you might find this quite difficult because maybe you're having to miss out on some activities that are going on that might drag on quite late in the night. So if you want to fit through your routine, you might have to prioritize slightly different things. Now, what is a night person or night owl, as is commonly referred to? So a night person or a night owl is someone who tends to wake up later and also is able to be more productive in the nighttime. Again, while other people are sleeping, and this person is able to focus on themselves and grow themselves at night. So an advantage of being a night person is that you don't have to wake up early in the morning, especially if the days are winter and it's gloomy outside. You might not want to feel like waking up early. This night person might miss all that. And an advantage again is in the evening time, you can work on yourself and end on high. A disadvantage though would be that you have to try and be productive after you've already done most of your day's work. So if you've had a bad day or if a lot of things have been going on in your mind, then it might be quite difficult to switch off of that and then come back to focus on things that matter to you and you want to focus on afterwards. So those are the key kind of differences between being a morning person and being a night person. So what type of person are you? Comment below. Let me know if you're a morning person, say morning. If you're a night person, say night. Let's see what the counts are at the end. Okay, so now let's go to talk about the general tips that are going to be around how you can schedule your day or organize your day for optimal productivity, regardless of what type of person you are. I want to bring up a quote that resonated with me quite a lot. I think this one quote probably summarizes a lot about what we talk about planning in this video. And this comes from Abraham Lincoln, where he said, if you gave me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. How many of you have heard of that one before? Comment below, let me know. So if you're planning for the day, then here's the biggest tip I can give you. Think about outcome-driven planning. Now, I don't mean what your outcomes would be for your work day, for your 9 to 5. If you want to see how you can do that and be more productive during your 9 to 5 day, then check out the video I made last week about how to be more productive while you're working from home. I'll link the card to that here and in the description as well, so you can check that out after this video. But here, I mean how you can plan your day for outcomes that you want to achieve personally. This might be personal growth, something you're focused on, or something like starting your own business on the side, or investing in your own mindset. So there are things that you want to do that are dear to you and that you feel important. So this is what I mean. Write down at a maximum 3 things that you think are important that you want to have as an outcome for that day. So what this does is when you put your outcomes, then actually you will start planning on how to achieve those outcomes. Otherwise, we tend to be reactive. Now, if you're just planning like, okay, this is my to-do list, I just want to do this. Now, you're not actually planning to get something out of all those things. You're just planning to take it off for no reason. So instead, what I recommend is start planning with an outcome-driven plan. Now, the second thing is for you to use time blocking, okay? Again, I spoke about that last time a little bit, but here what I mean is you need to be able to schedule that plan into your day. So once you've got your outcomes that you want to achieve and you can map your to-do list to those outcomes, you need to actually plan a schedule around the day to make sure that you can achieve it. So I'm very digital, so I tend to use Google Calendar. I used to use Excel, which is really funny, but I used to use Excel, map it out, each half an hour. But now I use Google Calendars. But I'm quite digital, so I don't use paper. But if you're analog, then feel free to use the journal or planner or something like that. But what I would say is don't just put like a 2-hour window where you're saying work or read book or work on self-development. None of that stuff. Instead, break it down every half an hour and see what you're doing in each of those half an hours or to 1 hour, right? Because then you can also schedule in your breaks and there's more chance of you sticking to what you've written down because it's in half an hour blocks. Because if you've missed 10 minutes of that by scrolling or watching cat videos or something like that, then you've missed quite a lot of that block that you've put in there. So you can actually follow the schedule along a lot better if you've got it written down in granular blocks. Now, this time blocking strategy could be really useful, especially using it in a granular way if you are studying for exams right now. I know some of you subscribers are currently studying for exams, so making a schedule like this that's broken down in half an hour chunks or 1 hour chunks can be really useful for you. But regardless of if you're a morning person or a night person, these tips don't change because you can organize your day however you want and whatever times you want. Because you're chunking it down per hour, you can just see whether you want to do it from 5 a.m. until 10 p.m. or if you want to do it from 10 a.m. until 3 a.m., right? So it doesn't really matter, but you figure out how you want to do it. But what I'd recommend is just chunk it down into different smaller granular pieces. If you think it'd be useful for me to share my plan, and especially if you are wanting to go more digital and find out how I go through my plan and develop it in Google Calendar, then again, let me know in the comments below and I'll make a video about that in the future. Okay, so now hopefully you've understood the differences between being a morning person and a night person and some general tips around how you can do planning for your day to be more productive regardless of what type of person you are. So finally, what we want to talk about is some examples of successful people in either of those categories. So one for a morning person and one for a night person. An example for a morning person. You guys may know this guy. He's called The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Okay, so he is notoriously a morning person. Anyone who's kind of followed him on any of the stories or social media knows that he wakes up at crazy o'clock or 4 a.m. otherwise known as, right? Sometimes 3:30 a.m. And he justifies it saying that he wakes up so early so he can get a lot of stuff done before his day already gets a bit hectic. So he wakes up early and first thing he does is exercise. The guy is huge, so exercise is a thing for him. So yeah, he exercises first thing in the morning, then he reads, and then he goes through doing a lot of other stuff which are important to him. The most important thing here is that the first thing in the morning, doing things that he wants to do and that control his life, right? So things that make him focus and things that get him set ready for the day. So this is the morning rituals that a lot of successful people talk about. And each individual person has their own kind of thing. This is The Rock's example. Other people do meditation and different kinds of readings and things like that in there. If you want to do that, or if you're that kind of person, go ahead and do it. No one's going to stop you. Whatever works for you is fine. Anyway, then he goes through doing his normal work, And then in the evenings, he makes time for family time, a little bit of chill time, and before he goes to bed, make sure again that he's doing things that are driving things forward that he wants to believe in. Now, an example of a night owl success person, now there aren't that many people in this category who I could choose from. There aren't that many people who follow a night routine. Why that is, I don't know. There's just a lot more successful people who talk about morning rituals and who are morning people than there are night people, or that come forward as night people. Comment below and let's see what your opinions are. But a night person example is Mark Zuckerberg. He wakes up around 9 or 10 a.m. Again, it's probably not that late, but it's late in comparison to The Rock, who wakes up at 4 a.m., right? So he wakes up around 9 and 10 a.m. and then the first thing he does is actually just gets ready and goes to work. So he gets to work and does lots of hours and puts lots of effort in there. But then when he comes back, again, he exercises and he makes sure he's spending time with his family and chilling out, but also reads self-development books and makes sure that he's still growing during this time and not just being stagnant. So I hope you saw that there are some similarities between these two people, regardless of what time they wake up. And the similarities are they both exercise, they both make sure that they're reading books that are of self-development in some way, whether it be mindset or whether it be business or knowledge. And the final thing is that they both allocate time that they want to spend with their family or just relaxing to declutter their mind, right? It's really important to make sure that you're relaxing, because when you're being an entrepreneur and you're doing it on the side of having a full-time job, it can be overwhelming. So just make sure you're living in the moment and actually putting some time for breaks that you can wind down. If you want to find out a little bit about how you can transition from being a night person to a morning person, because I know a lot of people want to do that transition. I personally did that transition. I used to be a night person when I was growing up, and I used to do a lot of work in the sort of 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. space. But then now I'm a morning person. I actually wake up not that early like The Rock, but I wake up at 6 a.m. and go exercise and stuff like that. I have found some differences, so hit the notification bell below and don't miss the next week's video, which will cover this stuff in more detail. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful, and let me know in the comments below what was your biggest takeaway. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, and don't forget to like this video as well. And while you're there, if you think somebody else could benefit from watching this video, make sure you share it with them. So thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one.